All right, starting up here for tonight, almost done. Give it a second for everything to kick in, and we are ready to go. It is Thursday evening. It is the end of a very long day. A lot of severe weather moving on through the area. Fortunately, not too much to worry about in the way of damage. Did have some reports out there. We'll talk more about what we were looking at in just a little bit. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick. This is Weather Overtime for Thursday, July 20th. Thanks for joining us for this evening and into the rest of the next few days. Some much warmer conditions heading our way, looking at some hotter numbers toward the end of next week. About a week from now, we're going to be back in the soup again, it looks like. Potential of maybe, again, some showers and thunderstorms causing some more problems with issues involving flash flooding. We'll take a look at that in just a little while. And, of course, we got tons of other stuff to talk about. Got any questions? Let us know. Drop it into the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. Give us an idea as to what you're seeing in your neck of the woods and what's going on weather-wise. If you've got weather pictures, stay tuned. We'll have our West Shore Home weather window picture of the day coming up here in just a little bit. And, of course, we'll talk more about the forecast into next week, which does have that heat and humidity coming back our direction. Temperatures for today, again, nowhere near where they should be for the earlier part of the day. We did manage to make the lower 90s, very much on the hot and humid side out there, very sultry all the way on through. Temperatures, again, right about where they should be. We're waiting for an update on the amount of rainfall. Okay, there, it just came down at 1.03 inches. That's not bad. That takes us back to almost where we should be for the month of July, and still about an inch and a quarter behind for the entire year. This is not even close for the inch point 3 for today. Or inch point 03, I should say, that does not come close to the record rainfall, which was about 4 inches plus, set back in, I believe, about 1979 or so. So we did manage to get a decent amount of rainfall today, settle the dust, get rid of anything involving the smoke that's been around the area, so that's kind of nice to get rid of all of that. West Shore Home weather window picture of the day, thanking Bruce Drawl, hope I'm saying that correctly, for a view of the thunderstorm passing over Missionary Ridge. Nice view from aloft, looking around the area of Point Park on Lookout Mountain, so a nice view showing up there. A decent amount of downpour taking place here, almost kind of a microburst from what it looks like, but nice view there. Thank you very much, Mr. Bruce, for sending in that. If you've got pictures to show, please send them on to us at pictures@wdef.com. And if you've got the opportunity to visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, please do so. Drop the pictures there and give us a description of what it was you were looking at when you were at wherever you happen to be. Sylvester the Spider, front and center on our Island Cove Marina and Resort Cam with just a little bit of daylight left, even though it is almost 10 o'clock, so a few clouds out there and hopefully not too much in the way of rainfall coming up. From the News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, clouds passing on by, much better view, actually able to see well on down toward downtown off there in the distance, with a little bit of lights going on. From Chattanooga Red Wolf Stadium, the 24-75 split. This was an incredible view earlier today where you just couldn't see anything around this junction of the interstate. Couldn't even hardly see the closer lanes to us with the heavy rain and the winds coming down. It was just absolutely just blown over with plenty of rainfall out there. This is, again, part of the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network, which you can find on our website at wdef.com/weather. Lookout Mountain and a little bit of cloud cover at the base of the mountain there. Lights up on top of Lookout, and, of course, the lights of downtown easily seen for right now, so looking pretty good. A lot better than what it was earlier on today with plenty of rainfall out there. Lee Point, our last stop, showing again 153 and 64 highway interchange. Some amounts of fog off in the distance. Not seeing too much of a big visibility problem here, but we will be looking for more potential of some fog tomorrow morning. Some potential, not a lot, but with this moisture out there, that again is going to be a bit of a concern. Temperatures have been very much on the mild side. Numbers made their way back into the lower 70s with the clouds and the rainfall and everything else. So numbers are a lot cooler than what they have been, what they were back in the lower 90s earlier on. So we did manage to make our high temperatures, and it was very typically mid to late July for a good portion out there. Looking into the future, again, Friday's warm, very humid, scattered showers and thunderstorms for golfers. Temperatures back in the lower 90s, about where we were today, maybe a bit cooler, but all that humidity out there is not going to help us out with the heat index. Those numbers will be pushing 100 degrees again tomorrow, so looking at some pretty uncomfortable numbers out there. For going out to catch a fish, according to the website, it says excellent, but again, we're looking at more scattered thunderstorms, so be prepared for that. Remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. Let's all be careful when it comes to outdoor activities and thunderstorms around the area, and there is a potential of severe weather. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. Usually we featured this at 11, but I think we can go ahead and risk showing what's going on in the barbecue patio for the Food City certified Angus beef on the grill cast. Next few days, chances of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow evening, and numbers not bad, back in the lower 80s, but it's going to be very muggy out there, so definitely want to get some water to drink. Early showers and thunderstorms on Saturday, but those will be giving way to partly cloudy and very warm conditions, and almost exactly the same for Sunday, just a little bit warmer, so not doing too bad on the grill as we get into the rest of the forecast. We did have a heat advisory in effect for northeastern Alabama until 8 o'clock tonight. That has been curtailed, so no part of the News 12 viewing area under a heat advisory. Plenty more back to the south and west of us as we see some very hot temperatures taking place out there. Checking on the radar, what's left of some of those thunderstorms and formerly severe thunderstorms over northeastern parts of Alabama, now moving into west central areas of Georgia. And that brick red color you see on screen there, those counties being affected, that is a severe thunderstorm watch, which is in effect to about 9 o'clock, another 5 minutes here, and until 10 o'clock on the eastern time zone side of things. So this should be disappearing within about the next 5 minutes or so, at least by the time we finish up our weathercast here. Depends on what happens, but they may extend that. We'll see what goes on if there's more of a chance, because it looks like right now these between Cullman and Gadsden seem to be reforming pretty well, and a little bit of a flare-up with these storms going from Jackson to DeKalb County. So it looks like we may have a little bit of a refiring taking place. It doesn't look like much for right now, but something to watch out, especially as they head into this watch box. So that, again, could be a bit of a concern there for the time being. Let's go ahead and see what's going on the maps, because for right now, these storms may give us a repeat performance into tomorrow. And what we're going to be looking for, we're just going to be seeing this front, the one we talked about last night. Again, it's kind of absorbed the other fronts that are around the area, or those other fronts have basically kind of fallen apart. So this is going to go down to the southeast, bringing in some drier, more stable air here, but it's going to take a while, and it looks like it's only going to affect us briefly before we head into next week. As we do go into around the portion of time toward mid to late next week, we see the potential of more showers and thunderstorms taking place. I still am a little bit iffy about this system going all the way south of us, because that area of high pressure does a pretty good job of blocking these systems. And even though a lot of the computer models are showing this dropping on south, I'm really kind of iffy about the idea of clearing this whole thing out and allowing it to drop all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, which is what is being shown on the Weather Prediction Center. We'll see what happens, but for right now, confidence from me at least is not high about what we're looking at as this storm drops on out of the picture coming up into the next couple of days. All right, let's run the numbers and give you an idea as to what's happening. Again, overnight, we shouldn't see too much here, but by very early in the morning, chances of showers and thunderstorms form back to our west. Most of those, it looks like, should drop south of the area, but it is possible that some of this activity here might scrape through south of Chattanooga early tomorrow morning. and that could bring for some wet roadways and some rumbles of thunder out there. More chances of showers and thunderstorms coming through tomorrow afternoon, and temperatures with enough sunshine easily bouncing back into the lower 90s. We see more chances of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. It doesn't look like much, but it is still possible, according to these models, that we see again that activity go through early Saturday morning, and then leaving the area piecemeal. We see the potential of maybe some scattered activity through Saturday afternoon, and then afterwards, that's it for the chances of showers and thunderstorms. Sunday morning, a little cooler, a little drier, again, not by much, back into the lower 60s, and that'll be feeling quite comfortable out there. And through the afternoon on Tuesday, it looks like mid to upper 80s, which is not technically cooler, but it's not going to be doing anything to help anybody stay cool anytime soon. We'll be seeing temperatures drop a little bit. That's the gist of it for the course of the next day or two, and we'll show that to you coming up here in your 7-day forecast. Let's get into the possibility of severe weather. Again, for tonight, it's been downgraded from slight to marginal, so we don't see a major threat, but there is still the possibility of 1 or 2 storms becoming strong to severe. Main threat will be damaging winds, along with the potential of maybe some very heavy rains for downpours out there. Tomorrow, the threat, and this forecast right here for day 2, Friday, is hours old, so we do not have anything here that's going to show us specifically what's going on. This forecast update for tomorrow will update about 2 o'clock in the morning, so several more hours will go past before we get any information. But for right now, marginal threat of severe weather and more of a slight risk down to our south. Then, as we go into Saturday, the threat is basically over and done with. We have a marginal threat down to our south, generic thunderstorms early on Saturday, and then that should do it for the rain chances and showers and thunderstorms out there. So hopefully, again, for right now, what we're looking for is this system dropping in some of that dry air, sticking around to give us some potential of the dry air for right now. So we will see more sunshine through the foreseeable future for going into the last few days of July. The main thing for now is the showers and thunderstorms, most numerous tomorrow, finishing up on Saturday early, and then giving way to just dry conditions, at least where it comes to rainfall. It may be a little drier if that front drops on south of us, but I think the humidity is going to stick around here for the better part of the summertime. Again, welcome to summertime in the southeast United States. Temperatures, again, dip a little bit into the weekend, so numbers here will be good for outdoor activities, again, dealing with the humidity out there. And then next week, plenty of sunshine through the next several days. That means our temperatures are heading back upwards again, so easily back in the lower to mid-90s, mid-90s by this time next week. So 1 week on, we'll be seeing the potential of more in the way of heat and humidity again. Whether or not that goes into around portions of early August, for right now, it does not really appear to do so. It looks like it's going to be pretty warm out there as we see above normal temperatures on the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. So that hot weather will be on its way back, possibly the upper 90s by the last weekend of July. We'll have to wait and see what that shows, and it looks like we're going to be getting rid of the chances of rainfall as that dry spell comes through. So below normal on the possibility of any rainfall coming through. The best potential, such as it is, Great Lakes into and around portions of the Dakotas, southern parts of Canada, and that's about as good as it gets, again, for right now. So the best chance of rainfall that we have into about the next 24 hours, we did manage to wind up with a very good amount today. The heaviest of everything came down north of us in the red and the orange. That is where you start seeing 5 to 7 inches of rainfall locally. So we're talking about some intense amounts of rain, and all that water's got to go someplace. So we did not pick up too much right on the northern counties, Ray, Meigs County, back up toward I-40. That was where we picked up the worst of the worst going on there. And then for the next couple of days, as long as we got all of this rainfall happening, this is not good news. What I'm going to show you, we're going to be looking for the potential of more rainfall coming on through tomorrow, especially back to around southeast Tennessee and northeastern Alabama. Not quite so much expected to the east of Chattanooga, but once again, rain falling on saturated soil. Usually if it's dry ground, then all that moisture just soaks into the ground and is not a problem. With totally saturated ground, the ground doesn't absorb the rainfall. The rain just runs off and then collects in like low-lying areas. And that's where you start to see the river levels rise very quickly. And if they do, if there's debris that gets washed downstream and blocks the entrances to culverts and the sewer system, you can have water go over roadways, and you don't want to drive through water-covered roadways. So there is the potential going into tomorrow. Tonight's potential has really been dialed back a little bit. We still see a marginal possibility of flash flooding. The best possibility is going on well back to our west, from the mid-south all the way back into western Kansas. Not great news for the wheat farming going on back to that direction. Now into tomorrow, for Friday and into early on Saturday, we start to see the potential of that threat shifting down to our south. But because of that rainfall chance on Saturday, we still have a marginal, lesser threat of the potential of flash flooding. This is, again, a flash flooding graphic. This is not having anything to do with severe weather. So that, again, moving on out of the picture there. And then by Saturday into Sunday, the threat is gone all the way down to the south of us, and we don't see any chance for the next several days. So we will get a chance to dry out. We could definitely use the rainfall, no question about that, but we could use it spread out a little bit more instead of just all at once. It would be nice to get that rainfall more well distributed, if at all possible, out across much of the area. All right, I think I have the graphic up and going here. Calvin basically into the heading toward the central Pacific, and there's really not that much left of him. Winds of about 40 miles per hour and continuing off to the southwest of the Hawaiian Islands. So once a major hurricane, not a problem for right now, so it doesn't look like any type of situation for the time being. The good news again for Don, it is still out there, and winds are up to 50 miles per hour, so we are seeing. Let me go ahead and get this into motion. I'm reading the information direct from the National Hurricane Center. Don is still looping its way back to the northwest, and it's going over some very warm waters out there. We also have a disturbance into and around the mid-section of the tropics, and this the information on here has changed. 10% for the next couple of days, 30% for the next 7 days. I didn't get a chance to update this graphic because earlier on today things were just a little hectic, believe it or not. So this right here is the storm moving its way back over to the west, heading toward the Leeward Islands out into the Caribbean and just around, hopefully, again, avoiding any land surface at this time, but way too early to show exactly where this may be going. Either way, as it heads over the very, very, very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, this could be a very big problem as we go into around next week, as that storm gets a little closer to the area. Don itself, not really a problem, but notice these temperatures in the Gulf. These things from the Gulf into the Caribbean, the jet stream up here, or the Gulf Stream, I should say, incredibly warm, upper 80s, lower 90s on water temperatures. That is rocket fuel for these storms if they run over them, and wind shear is the proper the proper amount of wind shear to get these storms going. If this system out here does continue on its direction, I would watch this very carefully heading in from overseas, as we see it aim maybe between that gap between Hispaniola and South America. If that manages to thread the needle into the Gulf, this could spell some very big problems in about a week's time. So pay attention to the forecast. If you have plans to travel from the Rio Grande to the Keys, make certain you know exactly what's going on with the weather. You don't want to be heading down to a situation into an area where you're just going to have to turn back around and evacuate because a storm is heading in. So now's the time to be weather aware. Please pay attention to what's going on in the tropics and everything else around you when it comes to, again, severe weather. So keep it tuned for more. We'll have you updated here with no problem whatsoever. So stay tuned for more on that. Once again, tomorrow, if you are a Whitfield County, Georgia resident and you have photo ID, you can prove that you live in Whitfield County, Georgia. Show up tomorrow at Riverbend Park, 1999 Riverbend Road, 4 to 7 p.m. The Whitfield County, Georgia Emergency Management Agency will be giving away 200 free pre-programmed weather radios, so you don't have to do the programming of everything. Totally free for the first 200 people who show up to get a weather radio. This is a life-saving piece of equipment. Big thanks to Whitfield County EMA for doing this. This is a great way to spend public funds to get these radios into the public's hands. These radios should be all over the place, so you can get more information from the National Weather Service whenever you possibly can. It's just one more way to get information. Don't rely on just tornado sirens. Don't rely on just your cell phone. Don't rely on just on us, the media. Tune in for the forecast, naturally, but also make sure that you are paying very close attention and make certain this is set up and ready to go, especially when you have storms possible overnight. This can wake you up and let you know what is happening. The information that's sent out in the message from the National Weather Service, picked up by the antenna, processed by the computer system, will let you know which counties are under which warnings. And if you don't want to be bothered by a warning back around Nashville or down toward Atlanta, you don't have to be. It's really cool. It really is a great piece of technology. We can help you program it if yours doesn't come programmed, and again, all this is pre-programmed. But if you pick up one of these at a local store, go to our website, wdef.com, and we'll be glad to let you know more about what it is we can do to help you program this so you can be ready for severe weather. And now is the time of the year to make sure that you are prepared and ready to go. Find out information on all this on my social media pages all over the place. As today is International Chess Day, if you'd like to play a game, you can find me on chess.com or lichess.org. It's my ID is my amateur radio tag, KG4GKE. You can find me there with more information. Again, would love to play somebody in chess on that. I'm not a grandmaster, but I do know my way around the chessboard. So happy International Chess Day. I wonder if I still have the graphic in here. I think I got rid of it a long time ago. We are short on space from time to time on this computer system. There we go. All right, if you'd like to find me on the boards, all you have to do is find me on chess.com or lichess.org at KG4GKE. That's my amateur radio license, and that comes in handy as an online ID. So go ahead and find me on there if you'd like to play a game of chess at some point in time. Now that the day is over with and hopefully things quiet down into the weekend, I'll have the opportunity to play a little more chess and relax for a little bit. It's been a very busy week out here. Teachers, administrators of schools, please contact us as soon as possible regarding getting us into your classroom. We would love to be able to talk to your students about science, about weather, about the atmosphere, about emergency preparedness, weather radios. Love to talk to them about climate change and this beautiful planet that we live on. If you'd like to know more about that, all you have to do is go to wdef.com/weather and click on the Food City Weather in the Classroom section. Enter your information, your contact details, what grade level your classes are, what special topics you'd like us to speak about, and anything else you can put down there, and then we'll cross-connect to see which one of us can make it to your school so we can talk more about what's going on with the weather. Usually one of the bigger hits for the classroom to be able to have answers about the atmosphere, and again, talking to the kids about scientific curiosity. If we don't know something, we'll answer that we don't know, but then we need to be able to find out. So being curious is one of the things we talk about, and getting out and finding the answers is what a scientist does. So we'll talk more about the scientific method and all sorts of neat and cool stuff, so definitely want to stay tuned for that. I think that's it. It's pretty close to closing things down here for tonight. We still have some rumbles of thunder possible. We still have some severe weather potential out there, but not a lot going on at this point in time. So I think that'll do it for this evening. Again, Chip Chapman will have your forecast bright and early tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for more on the morning show that starts at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'll be back with your Into the Weekend forecast coming up as we get into very early Friday evening. And again, remember, there is the potential of those thunderstorms again. So have your severe weather plan ready to go. You may need that at some point in time. So let's be cautious out there. Let's be weather aware and keep it tuned to News 12 for more. Don't forget about our forecast page, wdef.com/weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. Thanks for joining us for Thursday evening, the July 20th weather overtime. Thanks a lot to my family and friends and to the production department here at News 12 for giving us a great birthday card. Thank you very much for that. Very nice to have that. I forget how old I am, so don't ask. As I used to hear from my relatives, it doesn't matter until you hit retirement anyway. So thank you very much for the birthday wishes on that. More to come tonight on News at 11 and Chips Up tomorrow morning with your forecast. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime for Thursday night.